the newest telecom operator, grew at the cost of the other three biggest players. The second quarter revenue market share data, which was released by TRAI, that's the regulator, on Thursday evening, shows that Airtel, Vodafone and Idea, the three incumbent players, saw their revenue drop in the last quarter, while Reliance Jio commanded nearly 14% of the total revenue pie. Now, I'm not referring to revenue as an absolute revenue, but revenue market share. And here's Soumeet with more data on that. Soumeet?
So TRAI came out with its adjusted gross number revenues yesterday, which helps us to calculate the revenue market share of a telecom company in India. Now, according to this data, Reliance Jio, which reported its number for the very first time, has been able to grab a market share of nearly 14% in the second quarter of financial year 2018. While bigger players like Airtel, Vodafone and Idea had a market share of close to 28.8%, 20.5% and 17.3% in the second quarter of financial year 2018. Smaller players like Tata Teleservice had a market share of 5.4%, while BSNL had a market share of 5%, and others which include Reliance Communication, Aircel, MTNL, SSTL and Telenor had a market share of close to 9.1% in the second quarter. Now, if you see the top three telecom players, that is Airtel, Idea and Vodafone, saw a sharp sequential fall in their revenue market share in the second quarter. Now, Airtel's revenue market share declined by around 475 basis points, while that of Vodafone and Idea declined by 353 and 362 basis points in the second quarter of financial year 2018. Now, the adjusted gross revenue, which is the gross revenue adjusted for interconnect usage charges and other deductions, declined for all the telecom operators in the second quarter, except for Reliance Communication. Now, surprisingly, Reliance Communications adjusted gross revenue increased by 11% to 828 crore in the second quarter. So, one positive thing that came out of this was the telecom sector's revenue, that is the consolidated revenue of the telecom sector, increased for the first time in the last 5 quarters. Now, the sector's revenue grew by 4% in the second quarter to 30,755 crore rupees, and this is after a 4 consecutive decline. You can see here in the second quarter it declined by 4%, in third again 6.6%, Q4 it declined by 11%, while in the first quarter of financial year 2018 it had declined by 4.5%. Now, this 4% rise in the sector's revenue is also the highest in the last 10 quarters.
So, but all of this is on account of Jio, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. But my question is, so naturally, because of the pie and a player coming in, it would take some market share by revenue from the other players. Yeah. But has the sector overall revenues for Bharti, Idea and others also, while the share in the overall pie may have dropped, has it grown in proportion with the overall sector revenue growth that we've seen?
No, Airtel, Idea and Vodafone's gross revenue declined in the range of 10 to 14%. But the additional revenue that Reliance Jio brought in was more than what the decline was for them. That's the reason the sector revenue has gone up and their revenues have fallen.
You know, just go back to the chart which has the industry revenue performance. The 4 red bars that you showed us, right?
This was right after Jio started.
Yes, and so therefore actually it's not revenue degrowth in the sector. It was revenue going to a player that was not reporting revenue.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
Yeah,
so it was not reporting revenue, therefore the revenue was not being aggregated into the industry number, because it was all free. Most of the services were being provided free.
Services were free, and these guys, the existing players had to cut down on their revenue.
Yeah, so this is just the incumbent players actually for the last year.
These are the incumbent players.
Exactly. So it's not the sector revenue that degrew. It is the incumbent players' revenue that degrew, because the new competitor that had come in was providing free services. Had he been charging an amount for a service at that point in time, whatever market share he had started capturing would have resulted in an addition to the revenue here, and you may not have seen so much red.
Yes.
Correct?
Exactly.
So, I mean, this green, I think just to make the point there, and B, you're saying this green is now only because Reliance Jio started reporting
its revenue. And has started charging and started reporting its revenue.
Yeah. So that's the green. But you're saying that both Bharti, all three incumbent players have lost revenue market share in the second quarter as well, continuing to lose.
Yeah.
Okay. Did the Reliance...
No, they have not lost revenue market share. This is the first quarter where they have lost revenue market share. So revenue market share is a percentage, right? So because Reliance Jio started reporting...
so they've lost revenue market share in this quarter.
But their revenues were falling for the last...
Now can we look this a little bit forward and say that since, Jio has stabilized pricing somewhat, will this continue to be the case from here onwards? Because this is more maths than anything else also, right?
So analysts are seeing that going forward, now the revenue fall should stabilize a bit, because they are saying it has bottomed out. For the next 2 quarters, there might be there will be more decline because of the interconnect usage charge lowering.
Okay.
But after that, it should stabilize. Just because of interconnect usage charge, it should fall a bit further in the third quarter and fourth quarter. But then overall, it should stabilize going forward.
I don't know. This seems also, while this is actual math, but it's also, in a manner of speaking, optics, because it's getting accounted for just very, very recently. I think it's better to see this trend over the next 3 or 4 quarters and then see if there is a meaningful decline, continuous decline in the others vis-a-vis Reliance Jio, and whether the overall sector revenues, if they grow, and if the other incumbents continue to degrow, if they degrow in the first place, then that is what probably will
obviously this is the first quarter for Reliance. We'll have to see how it performs in the third quarter.
I think the other number to look at is number of subscribers that you're adding, and Bharti still leads the list in that.
Bharti is still adding, but Reliance is
not just still adding. Is Reliance adding more than Bharti?
Yeah, Reliance
in absolute numbers.
Yes, in absolute numbers.
Oh,
okay, that's interesting.
But percentage growth, I would imagine Bharti is reporting more because its base is higher. Okay, interesting.